building a career in tech is one thing, and balancing the career with other things is also another thing. So in this episode, I got someone who has been able to balance a career in tech, build a good career in tech while being a student. I know it's really hard to be a student while building a good career in tech, but this is someone who has tried to navigate the two and actually become successful. She'll be sharing how she has managed to balance the two and become successful at them, and she'll be giving all those tips that you might need to know. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thank you for having me. Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Randall. I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, and I have many titles, but I'm a Women TechMakers Ambassador, a GDG organizer for Cape Town, a GDC alumni, a crowdsource influencer, a Go Code ambassador, and a community lead for Africa's Talking.
You didn't mention that you're a student?
And I'm a master's student.
All right, Jess. These are very, very, very many roles. Can you share your strategies for managing time very well while executing these roles?
Sure. So my strategies are kind of like unconventional. So usually what I do is I schedule everything into a calendar or in my Google Calendar. So like all the tasks will like pop up. I usually use to-do lists, but like not like necessarily in order of priority. So I'll like list the role, and then I'll say like all the things that I have to do for that week, what I have to do for that specific role. So like for example, for Africa's Talking Summit, I have to update my slides and like make sure the marketing goes out for my event that's happening soon. So it's somewhere in my to-do list, and I always check it, and then once it's done I click on the check mark. But it varies because obviously like your student deadlines will come up, so like I deal with things as they come, which is probably not the best way, but sometimes it's the only way. So I prioritize what is important and then I'll do that first. But I also do schedule like most of my community work because it makes sense to, and it just helps me keep a balanced outlook of all the things that I do.
That's quite interesting. So, okay, how do you balance work life and academics?
Sure. So my work life is more like my community because I'm really interested in developer relations. I'm building like a portfolio for that. So for academics, I want to say my life is a bit flexible, but it's also not. So like we have hard deadlines by when certain chapters need to be done. So I'm doing my master's at the moment, which is like more like writing. So I'm doing a full thesis. So I'm busy writing my thesis in NEAT, in LaTeX. So LaTeX is like a math program where you just type everything you need. So what I usually do is like I schedule writing hours for when no one has to contact me during that time, so that I can get something done so that it will fit within my deadline. But most of the time I also have like scheduled hours for when I will do certain communities work. So at the moment my biggest responsibility is GDG. So I look at the morning, when I wake up I look at Slack, see if there's anything to do. If not, I always let my lead know, look, I have to write a chapter or I have a deadline. I will be unavailable, but please do let me know and I will get to it as soon as possible.
All right, that's quite some good strategy. So I believe every other role comes with its own challenges. So how have you faced any challenges while trying to juggle between academics and building a successful tech career?
Yes. So I struggled, well, with Africa's Talking. It's a bit new, so it's well, not new, but it's new to Cape Town or South Africa as such. So it's like an African developer community made by Africans for Africans, and we manage African developers and expose them to Africa's Talking's like products and stuff, and like we work with them and we do lots of hackathons and things. So at the moment I struggled with trying to start the community and then also do academia, and how I kind of had to like balance the two was both my supervisor and I'm gonna say my boss, because he's like a boss employee type of relationship are both understanding. So there's times when I am like most productive, and then I can do everything that I can to help start building that community. And then there's times where I have to say, I'm really busy at the moment at school, is taking, like, I really have to get something done. So I really struggled to launch. So that was like one of the things that is still in the works, but it was hard to get like venues and stuff. So like, I think I struggled with the whole concept of starting a community, because even though all the infrastructure is kind of there, you're like starting in a new space. And then, you know, when you look for venues and stuff, it's always like you have to build like you know, like say you hosted an event last month, and the month before that you like build like a reputation, and then the venue would say, yes, of course you can have the space. Like, we don't have any of that yet. So I was struggling with that concept of how do you start or like get started. I think that was really hard, because most of the communities I've managed or are managing, everything is kind of like, I want to say set up for you, but like the templates and everything is there. Okay, we are getting to templates, but I mean like the resources are there. Like when I joined GDG, they already have like,
they had the resources.
Yeah, they do have partners and sponsors, and they have their way of doing things, and like everything is there. And yeah, starting in new communities is a bit different because you don't have that. But at least you have connections from all the other communities you managed. So I've managed to like leverage that in the sense that it's helped me build stronger relationships with venues and people.
All right. So how have you been able to handle most of these challenges and try to overcome them? Because I believe there are very, very many. So how have you tried to overcome some of them?
Yeah, there are really a lot. So I think for the venue challenge, I had to be really optimistic, and like look in places that you don't necessarily look. So we don't really have like tech hubs in Cape Town. We don't have what you call like free spaces. Like the US has that free spaces, but like Kenya also has like those tech hubs where you say your community and you would like to host there. So we don't really have that. But Africa's Talking has like a provided budget, and they said if you can find something within this range for a venue, then we can support you and try and help as much as possible. So I had to like do stuff I don't normally do. So like you have to like reach out to people, and you have to write emails, and you have to like say, look, we would like to host this event, and these are the dates and times. So like I had to kind of like take charge of the whole planning of the event and like looking for a venue, which is a bit different because when you're working in a team, you have everyone, and you ask like, okay, are you going to ask this person, and then you let me know what they say, and then we'll do things together. So I had to overcome the challenge and kind of say, look, you really want this community to happen, so you just have to figure out how you're going to get a venue. And I managed to find a venue within the price range, and hopefully our event will be happening on the 21st of October. So that was the one challenge that I had with that, like just the starting. And then there's always the normal challenges like imposter syndrome, all the things that like bring you down, or how to balance your career with your academic life, and then like you're trying to find the most equal way of balance. So there was like a point where I had to say no to a lot of things or certain things, which is hard because it's like a developer in training, you want to attend everything. So I had to learn to say that you can't attend everything, and it's okay to choose the events that you can do. And if someone says, hey, we want you to speak at this event, and you can't, it's okay to say, I unfortunately can't, I'm double booked, please understand. So I'm like learning how to do that properly. But that was one of the challenges, because then you end up being burnt out, and when you're burnt out, you can't do either of the two. Like, it's not just the academic side, because the academic side you need your brain to work and everything, but community also takes a lot of effort and time, and if you're burnt out, you can't do that either. So yeah.
All right, I'm glad you've been able to overcome some of these challenges, and I hope a viewer out there will learn and get tips from you about how they can actually solve these challenges once they have encountered them in their communities. So do you think being a student has influenced your approach to building a career in technology?
Yes, I want to say to a certain extent, yes. But I feel like I've also been influenced, like, from school. So the type of school that I went to, they always drove, you must like aim to go to university, or you must aim to get into UCT studies, like must aim to go to university, and then once you get the degree, you will start working, and then that's a career. That's basically how they defined it. I want to say I don't fully agree with that. I do agree that a degree is important. So the way my friend described it, he was like, think of someone who's taking the driver's license, right? I am someone who can drive, but I don't have a driver's license. Like, I can drive, there's nothing wrong, right? And then he said, now you get your license and then you can drive, right? You can drive. So basically what he was trying to say is that people like without degrees can hold a career just as well, and then but they just want the extra, like to say they're good, then the degree is the license that you have for that, but it doesn't necessarily make your career. So I would say, if I had to give advice, I would say a degree is important. It does set like a foundational grounding for your career, but then after that it's like all on you. It's like how you market yourself, it's how you represent yourself, it's how you look for opportunities that will accelerate your career but also not be detrimental to your mental health or like physical health, anything like that. So I want to say building your career is a lot of you putting in the effort for what career you want. And I recently discovered you can define your own career, the one that you want. So, for example, I used to think I just want to work for a big like tech company and that's like the career I want. And then I thought about it deeper and it's like, that's not just what I want. I want a great working environment. I want to work remotely. I want to be able to travel. I want to still do all the things that I do now, but like as a part of the job that I do. So it's like you go more in depth of what your trajectory of your career looks like. So I feel like I have a more deep understanding of what I want my career to look like, and I want it to be somewhat authentically me. So I went to the Deep Learning in Durban, and someone gave like a good keynote about how to be authentically you when working on your career.
Quite good. Now talking about making your career work, as someone who has built a successful career in tech while being a student, what advice do you have for some other person who is in your position but they have not yet been successful in their tech career? They're students but they look at building a career in tech.
Okay, so I would start with the first lesson is obviously defining what you want to do. So like if you want to be a front-end developer, and you would say like I want to be a front-end developer, and then you'd say, okay, which tech stack do I need to know for that? So you'd start off with like look at like where you want to be, what do you have, what do they want, how are you going to get there, or how do you market yourself so that even if you don't have the things that they want, you will still be able to get there. And then how do you motivate that you are something, you are willing, like you are worth taking the chance on. That's like the key things. with when you're wanting to start a career. But also think of like the wider like scope of your career. What else do you want it to be? Like for example, I know lots of people in big tech companies that do other stuff and other ventures that they want to have like an extra income, and then they're going to entrepreneurship as well. So I would say like define like holistically what you want. Like don't just say I just want this, and then like 10 years down the, or like say 5 years down the line, I think I'm going to start a business, and then you didn't even think about like, you know what I mean? Like I think of it as a full picture. What do you fully want? Because then you have almost no regrets when you go for it.
All right. So have you encountered any misconceptions or stereotypes about balancing all these multiple roles?
Yes. So I'm not going to say it's okay, I'll say it's a misconception, is that people think multitasking is bad. I do it very often, and people will say, just how do you do like 10 million different things at once? So I would say it works for some people and it doesn't work for some people. So I wouldn't say altogether it's bad. It just depends on the person. So my personality is, if I'm really busy and I know that I've got stuff to do, I feel like I'm on top of the world. Like it's thrilling for me to get things done by a certain date and manage all these different things. And it kind of keeps me stimulated because I feel stagnant in one thing. That's why I have so many things, because it's very stimulating, and it's all the things that I'm passionate about. Like it's not just things I'm just doing, it's all the things I really love. So it works for the type of personality that I have. And I'm also like a hyper proactive person. So like I have episodes of like huge productivity and then like not so much productivity. So like one day I can do 20 million, like 20 different things of all across the board between academics and all the communities that I run. And then one day I'll be like, I'm taking the day off, I did all of those things, I'm like just gonna chill, I'll focus on the one thing for today, this is all I think my brain can manage for today, and then I'll be fine. Like that's how I work. But for some people it doesn't always work that way, and multiple things causes them to burn out, causes them to feel stressed, causes them to have more thoughts about imposter syndrome. So I say that is probably the misconception, is that it's all bad. Some of it is good, just depends on the person. And then another like misconception about like managing many different things is I sometimes think that people think it's like irrelevant if you're managing all these different things, but I feel like I know what I'm working towards. I know that I want to be in developer relations, which means I need to be quite diverse in all the different tech communities that I'm encountering. And all of them have different styles of doing things, different ways of doing things, and I need to be adaptable, because I could get a job at any company and they would be like, this is how we do things here. I can make suggestions, but I need to be able to follow what they like or what they do or what they stand for. And all of them have different community guidelines, different visions, missions. So I feel like if you have a purpose for the many things that you do, then you're not lost.
That has really been noted. So Jess, have you envisioned your life after being a student, your life as a full-time tech professional? And how have you prepared yourself for it?
Oh, this is a hard question, but I understand what you mean. So I'm in this like bubble of I want to transition into tech because my master's is maths. Like it's like full on pure mathematics. But I have found that pure mathematics has applications in AI and ML. So I find that really interesting. So the first thing that I did is I had to like almost like decide, where do you see yourself after your master's? Like what do you think you want to do and how do you think you're going to get there? So I had the opportunity to meet people from Google DeepMind and they put me in touch with someone, and I was like, look, this is the situation I'm in. I'm transitioning, but I want to be prepared. And they sent me an email with like all the resources that they think I should look at or delve into immediately after my master's. So I know that it's going to take time before I would even get like, say, a job, but I have a plan for how to get there. So they obviously want me to be knowledgeable about AI and ML. So they gave me all the most relevant resources for the academic background that I have. So my background is quite good. It's math, and ML is math, but it's like, how do you implement ML now from an ML's perspective, not a maths perspective. So the math is interesting, but like, how do you use it as a machine learning person? So I'm learning how that is going to look like. Because when I was looking like after masters, I did say, okay, research scientist is something I would like to be. And then I needed to like say, okay, what do I have? I've got the math, I've got communication skills, I've got all the soft skills. What don't I have? Knowledge in ML and AI, and all the things, like all the most technical things. And then I plan to fill that gap first, and then obviously work on projects and stuff. Like I just joined a community called MLs or something collective. I'm sorry if I forget the name, but it's like a Discord channel where you can get ML and AI projects to do, and you just like say, look, I'm really interested in doing this project. Can someone please guide me or give me a tutorial to do to just upgrade my portfolio? So then I joined them, and then I'm hoping that I can build and learn at the same time, so that by the time I have to apply or think about applying for research roles, I can either show them I am learning, I have built something, and there's a chance that you can take a chance on me. You know what I mean? Like show progression. Yeah. So that's kind of, I would say, my strategy for that part. Yeah. So that's just like, because I don't want to say waste math, but I did study so many years for math. So I feel like it is useful knowledge. I just need to figure out how I want to use it, and how I want to use it is a very unique way to define it. Yeah.
All right. So one thing I've noted is that you've really prepared yourself. I feel like you prepared enough for this. And for any viewer out there, please take time and think about what you would want to do outside your career. So Jess, as we conclude, you mentioned meeting people and networking, right? So how do you think networking and connecting with these new people has helped you build a successful career while being a student?
Oh, wow. So I want to say the people that you meet often lead you to great things. And that has been true for me in every sense of the word. I met, like, okay, let me just give an example. I met an Android GDE, Harun, and I got the opportunity to go to Kenya last year, and through him, I got so many different other opportunities, because I got to meet lots of different other people, and I got to meet Juba, and now like we're all friends. So my network kind of has combined or merged with his network, and now like recently in July I got the opportunity to go to Droidcom Berlin, and it was through him that it kind of happened. So I want to say it can be any random person. Like I didn't even meet him in person until last year, and like I feel like it's not like just like, you know, connecting with someone on LinkedIn. That's not networking. Networking is intentional. You want to learn from the person. They can also learn something from you, and it's very much like a really good friendship. That's how I would describe networking. It's not just saying I want to connect with you on LinkedIn, but you don't ask them for advice. You don't ask them how things are going. You don't ask what's the new job like, or how do you think you can help me prepare for this. Like those are all the things with networking. Or you don't say, look, I'm going to be in Cape Town, or I would like to meet up with you if you come in, or do you know anyone from your company that works remotely in my country that I can link up with? So like those are all the types of questions you should be asking when you're networking. So I want to say, yeah, it's really beneficial. Just make it very intentional. That's the whole point of networking, is to make it intentional. Don't make it seem like a chore, because adding someone on LinkedIn is just like having many Facebook friends, or it's just like having many Instagram followers, or it's just like having many Twitter followers, but you don't interact with them at all. And they just see what you post and they like it, but there's no intentional, oh, I want to learn from you. So yeah, that's how I would describe it.
Right. Networking is only beneficial if it has been intentional, right? So any parting shots for the viewers?
Sure. So I would say my takeaways from like learning how to build a career is that don't be surprised if what you think you were learned or taught is not exactly what is the reality. I feel like school kind of paints this wonderful picture. Gonna graduate, you're just gonna find a job, it's gonna be magical. I don't mean to be harsh, but I just think also be realistic. In today's times, in today's world, everything is digital. The number of people who are educated has increased or is increasing all over the world. So I just feel like, yes, you want to build a career, and that's important. Just be realistic about it. Look for other ways to do that, unconventional ways, like networking from all parts of the world. So at the moment, I think I have friends in Germany, friends in Manchester, England, friends in Finland, friends in Ghana, friends in Kenya. So like, and they all share network opportunities or like opportunities in general with me. And they're far away, but their intention is so intentional that I always appreciate anything that they send to me. So I feel like that would be my takeaways, is to be realistic about your career and what you want. Also, look at what you don't have and think of how you're going to think you're going to get there. Be intentional about networking and try to find balance. And if the one is becoming more than the other and you kind of need it to be equal, just prioritize, but also be kind to yourself.
Thank you so much for sharing these tips with the viewers. I really hope they learned something. I really hope they were noting down, and it was really nice having you here, Jess.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be able to be a part of this conversation.
Thank you.